Well, good morning, Wareham. It is Monday, August 26th, and we have a great show here for you. The news headlines, the weather report, and today in history. This morning, Emmanuel and Stephanie Obote joins us to talk about their missionary work in Uganda and Kenya. Also, laughing for no reason, a visit to the art farm in Plymouth County Farm is all on today's program. But first, I would like to take this moment to thank Not Your Average Antiques, an antique shop down Cranberry Highway in East Wareham, for donating the props that you see in the morning show. So stay tuned because the weather and the news headlines are next. Well, some clouds today and some sunshine with high at 71 degrees. So it's going to be a little bit chilly out there. A few clouds overnight, low at 53. Tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sunshine in the morning with more clouds for later in the day, high at 74, and a few clouds at night with low at 59. And we had plenty of news stories coming up at the news headlines. Wareham Week at the following stories. A 58-year-old Randolph woman drowned at Parkwood Beach on Thursday afternoon, Wareham police reported. On August 22nd at about 1:15 p.m., multiple Wareham emergency agencies responded to Parkwood for a report of an unresponsive person on the beach. Civilians were performing CPR on the victim near the shoreline when the first responders arrived. According to a witness, alcohol might have been a factor in the incident. Citizens brought the victim to shore after they observed her motionless in the water. When the victim arrived at Toby Hospital, she was pronounced dead. Police did not release the victim's name. Police do also say that the incident remains under investigation. However, it appears nothing suspicious at this time. And to our second news of the day. Laughter, chatter, and music, in addition to aroma of fresh food, filled the Tremont Nail Factory on Saturday night as Wareham residents and friends celebrated site's 200th anniversary during the Meet Me at Tremont Gala. Proceeds from the event went towards scholarships provided by the Cape Cod Canal Regional Chamber of Commerce to students from Upper Cape Tech, Wareham High School, Bourne High School, and Sandwich High. And to another news of the day, digging up forgotten treasure in Grandma's dusty antique sounds like a tale too good to be true. Based on a popular PBS television series, Antique Roadshow, the Gateway to Seniors Resources organized free antique appraisals on Saturday morning. Marian Antique shop owner and certified antique and fine art appraiser Francis McNamee worked with his partner Paula Denny to assess the monetary value of residents' presented items. And state and on-state fire departments are seeking help to resolve a case of two suspicious in nature fires, with the most recent occurring on Tuesday, August 20th. State Fire Marshal Peter Otrowski, on-set Fire Chief Raymond Goodwin, and Wareham Police Chief John Wolsek said a series of fires in Nanamet Heights neighborhood of Onset are being investigated, all of which may or may not be related. These fires are being jointly investigated by the Onset Fire and Wareham Police Departments and state police assigned to the Office of the State Fire Marshal. Anyone with information about these fires are asked to contact local fire or police or the statewide arson hotline. And that's all for today's news headlines. We're going to take a break and we'll be back with more. Well, if you'd like something special to add into your home decor, or if you just want to go out there and check out Mother Nature, well, there's a place for you to go. It's called Art Farm, and it's located on Main Street in Wareham, where art literally grows. So here is a visit to Art Farm. Well, hello, Wareham. Today we're coming to you from Art Farm, which is located right on Main Street in Wareham. This place is where inspiration and creativity runs freely. With me is Diane Nzn, who is the owner of this beautiful property, and today we are her guests. Could we take a look at the property?
Of course you may. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, why don't you take me to the moon? I'll fly with you in a balloon, and there you'll kiss me, and we will walk back to you.
Hey, well, thank you so much for having us here today. I am very curious to learn about the history of this beautiful property.
I found out years ago when I first bought this property that it was part of the Toby homestead.
Yes.
Originally, which was a lot of farmland. And this area has a lot of stone walls in it that were built back in that time. I also found out that the backside of my stone wall is the marker for the old stagecoach road that used to bypass the hill before they had automobiles. This was actually called, and some people still call it South Wareham.
South Wareham.
This one section.
Okay.
Oh, this is just happening all too soon. My life looks like a cartoon, and then you kiss me, and I'm all stuck with you.
Now, you told me before, you said when you came here the first time you saw this property, it wasn't so promising, but you looked beyond that, and part of it is due to how you were raised, where you came from.
Right.
So could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, growing up, I had 3 brothers, and one of them loved the outdoors, and he was nice enough to take his little sister with him all the time. So I learned a lot about the outdoors from my brother David, and pollywogs and salamanders and all those fun things, and my mother was appalled.
Yeah.
The first daughter was coming home with things in her pockets. But that's initiated my love of the outdoors.
After 31 years working for the post office, Diane retired. Her current work revolves around her garden, growing her artwork. She opened up Art Farm stand this summer, inviting the public to admire, learn, and be inspired, featuring photographs from her garden, painted slates, herbs, Cape Cod decor wreath, and more. Each art piece is unique.
This one here is from a 600-year-old barn. They took the roof slates off a 600-year-old barn, and this was from Montana. And they're thicker than the ones that you find around here, because every quarry does it different, and depending on where they're going to be building, what they wanted for the size and the thickness of the slate.
You could tell, it's so layered.
Oh, this is just happening all too soon. My life looks like a cartoon, and then you kiss me, and I'm all stuck with you.
I love the story about this.
All right, these are smudge kits. The Native Americans and a lot of other native cultures across the world actually have similar practices. What they do in Native America is you take a shell from the local beach, and then they take herbs like sage, and what they do is you dry the sage, and you can crumple it up, and you put it in the base of the shell.
Okay.
And then you light the shell, and it will smolder.
Yeah.
Just make the smoke. And you take a native feather, and this is a wild turkey feather, and what you do is it's a ceremony of blessings. You wish good blessings or positive energy on your home, on your family, when someone's sick, when you have a new baby, anything. It's a way of celebrating life and to spread positive is what it is. Some people say it's more about getting rid of the negative. The way I look at it, it's more spreading the positive.
Yes.
If you spread the positive, you automatically get rid of the negative, right?
Forever and ever till the end of time.
My posted hours are 11 to 6, Thursdays through Saturdays.
Very good. Well, as for that, this concludes our tour. Thank you so much and have a lovely day. Bye.
Do, 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 do,
You too can go and visit Diane Enzian at her art farm, or you can also call her if you would like to schedule something special, if you want her to create something special for you. Anyhow, we're going to take a break and we'll be back with more.
Hi everybody, I'm Letitia Botino from WCTV and I'm here with
Marie Ferrara from the Wareham Middle School Care Program, Operation Grandpals.
Missy Dezek, the director of the Wareham Council on Aging.
Taylor Gold, the activity director at All American Assisted Living in Wareham.
and we're here at the Operation Grandpals Luncheon in Wareham in the middle school library. So what is this event about and how did it start?
The class started 3 years ago. CARE has a lot of different classes like drama, gardening, music, chorus, and we wanted something new and refreshing. So we started to see that the seniors and the students were lacking a connection. So we decided to start an intergenerational program that bridged that gap between the young and the older generation. And that's the birth of Operation Grandpals.
I am the activity director, and Marie contacts me and she sets up visits to come over to visit our residents over at the All American Assisted Living.
I run the Council on Aging right across the way, so this is a great opportunity. We can walk right over here and the kids can walk right over to the Council on Aging and entertain us and interact with our seniors, which is great.
This is the last week of CARE, so the students run the class. I just approve everything. They facilitate the whole thing, from the luncheon with Kathy Martin and ask her if she would be willing to, in her cooking class, cook food for them, and she baked cookies, to the decorations, going to the other classes and asking them to create things for the luncheon. They email everybody, they take care of everything. So they were instrumental in the whole luncheon process of emailing the invitations, emailing the media, calling Lindsay's, who donated the salad for this luncheon. We only have 5 weeks. So in 5 weeks, this was the result of what the students did.
So are you ready to laugh for no reason? I'm talking about no reason. You're just cracking up and laughing, out loud laughing. Anyhow, I attended a laughter yoga class, which is an hour long, purposely just to laugh. So here's a little bit about laughter yoga, and hopefully, after you see it, you'll be cracking down too. Work out your risible muscles during an hour of laughter yoga. This latest health craze is sweeping the world, where people can laugh without a reason.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ha, 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 ha.
But this is a whole hour class
Correct.
specifically to laugh.
And people love it. Did you like it?
I loved it. I didn't think I was going to make it the whole hour.
In India,
In India.
they laugh every single day. Every single day they meet at a park and they laugh before they go to work. If I could do it 3 days a week, I would do that. I would do that, yes.
Laughter yoga was born in India in 1995 by Dr. Madan Kataria, also known as the guru of giggling. The exercise combines laughter exercises with yoga breathing, which bring more oxygen to the body and brain.
As I mentioned, breathing is important. So every few exercises, we'll stop and we'll do some breathing. Take a deep breath, raise your hands up, produces oxygen, gets into your brain, gets into your bloodstream. There's so many studies out. It's good for bronchitis, it's good for asthma, it's good for depression.
A typical session is an hour long, featuring clapping, breathing, childlike playfulness, and laughter exercise. So what's your favorite laugh?
I don't know if I've had one yet. I like the lion one a lot.
What's the lion?
The lion one. We didn't do it tonight. I'm sorry. The lion. Want to do it with me?
Okay.
The lion one is, these are our claws, okay? You open your mouth nice and wide, and you stick your tongue out.
Aren't you afraid that if we keep on inducing laughter, we push it out of us when it does not associate with the particular thing that triggers such a reaction? We may lose that reaction on things that actually makes us laugh.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
It has not happened to you yet,
No,
right?
no.
Okay. So how do you help your students take these lessons, this moment, to take it home with them, to take it to their jobs, to take it to grocery store, to take it to Dunkin' Donuts when somebody messes up your order? How do you help them realize that they can still laugh?
If you laugh more often, then you sort of are building up the inner child. You're producing the feel-good hormones, and you can kind of foster the inner joy inside of you.
Laughter yoga is free. You may join Doug on Wednesdays from 6 to 7 p.m. at Roland Thatcher Hall in Wareham.
Bring water and dress comfortably because it's an active show.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I told you it was contagious. You're probably laughing right now. Anyhow, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be cooking with Scott Record.
Are you tired of having to send money for your Office 365 subscription? Are you looking for other programs that you don't have to pay for? Here are a couple of solutions to some open source programs that you might want to check out. If you want a few great alternatives to Microsoft Office, try Apache OpenOffice or LibreOffice. Both are fantastic alternatives. Keep in mind that if you still need to create a Microsoft Word or Excel document, both are able to save files in the right formats. Another popular replacement for Microsoft Office is my personal favorite, Docs, which you can use free if you have a Gmail account. You can also use Google Slides for spreadsheets and Slides for slideshows, while saving files is easy if you use your Google Drive. If you're in the market for a new photo editing program, try Paint.net, which is completely free. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that Photoshop has, but it can still do basic photo editing, adjusting, and airbrushing. Another nifty program to try out if you're into sound editing is Audacity, which you can use on either a Windows or a Macintosh computer. Just search for Paint.net or Audacity on Google, and you can download both for free. If you're interested in learning about the basics of Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and organizing files, come to our free intermediate computer classes, which will run on September 5th, September 12th, and September 19th next month at 1:30 p.m. on Thursdays here at the main library. You can also check out our website to find out more about our basic computer skills classes. If you have any questions or would like to register for any of these classes, you can contact me at the library at smiller@salesinc.org, or you can call my extension at 508-295-2343, extension 1012. Thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Checkout of the Week from the Wareham Free Library.
So I bet you're hungry or you're thinking, oh my goodness, whatchamacallit? There's a holiday coming up very soon, and I would like something special to cook to share with the rest of my loved ones. So here is a recipe from Scott Record, making lobster pot pie.
You'll get to see it, we'll get to taste it, and you'll get to make it. Well, here we are at Scott Record again. Going to make something real spectacular, I think. And just to be honest, this is my own personal creation. 5 or 6 years ago, if you went into popular restaurants with seafood, nobody had lobster pot pie. The way it came to me, I love chicken pot pie. So I decided, well, here I am. I live in the Cape. How about lobster pot pie? Lobster pot pie. So put it all together. It took me about 8 attempts to make it the way I liked it. Because you can't make lobster pot pie with a chicken gravy. So I figured, what can I use that would be lobster? Lobster Newburgh sauce. It's got a little bit of sherry in it, or it could be cognac, but there's egg yolks, there's cream, there's the same vegetables. So I did that, and I put it all together, and I used regular pie crust. It was too much crust. It was too crusty. It was all crusty crust. So I've refined it by several different methods, and now I like to use ramekins, like a 10-ounce ramekin, which is the little porcelain round circular dish, and I put the fixings inside: chunks of lobster, all the vegetables, whole cream, a little bit of sherry, and then on top, like 8 to 10 layers of phyllo pastry. It comes out just right. So this is how we're going to start. This is what we're going to do. Okay, I'm back, and I'm going to do another magic trick. Nothing in my hands. Presto! Magic trick. This is, look at this. This is lobster meat.
I'd like you to meet my little friend.
This was a 5.5-pound lobster. Steamed it. I prefer steaming it. Decent sized chunks, but then I've kept big pieces of claw meat that I will be able to use on the tops of my presentation. Hold on. I'm also going to show you this. Presto! All right, this is phyllo dough. Greek phyllo dough. It's very, very, very thin dough. I've had this sitting out for 2 hours after it was sitting all night in the refrigerator because it's frozen in the store. But I like extra virgin olive oil. That helps the butter. So the hardest thing, the most solid, the most firm vegetable I'm going to cook are the carrots. So I want to put them in first. I want those, takes a while for them to soften. And that is about a cup of carrots. Now, what makes it for me with this recipe is the pearl onions. They're little, they're tiny, they're sweet. Parboiled them, put them in an ice bath, cut the tips off. And these shallots are minced up so small, and this is about half a cup of shallots. And it can be a little bit on the, yeah, it's more like 3/4 of a cup of shallots. Get them in there, saute those babies a little bit, because this onion sauce goes into the sauce and makes the sauce good. So now to add to this sauteing, just to get it warmed up, will be lobster meat. And I am not bashful with the lobster meat. I'm going to make up a few portions of this, so this just stays in for a little while just to get warm. Himalayan red salt, pink salt. Now I am going to put a little bit of nutmeg in. And then I'm also going to put some of those cayenne peppers that I had, and it's going to be a very, very small amount. That should do it, and that's for me. Now, do I want cognac or do I want sherry? I think cognac, because the cognac has a bigger, broader nose to it. Just want to make sure it hasn't gone bad. Cognac is only wine that's 500 years old, so I don't think it's gone bad yet. But this is cool. I'm going to put in about 3 tablespoons and a half of cognac. This is the fresh parsley from the garden. And I'm going to put at least a cup and maybe 2. Drizzle it in very easily, because if it goes in all at once, it'll end up being scrambled eggs. These egg yolks will make this thicken up nicely. It's time to assemble my lobster pot pie with a Newburgh sauce. And these are the 10-ounce Pyrex baking dishes that I was talking about. I'm going to see how many I'm going to get out of this filling. And then we put the phyllo on. But it looks like I'm only going to get 6 on this cookie tin. So let's do 6 to start with and see what we get. It's all in here, man. This is cooking, baby. So we are going to take these with big chunks of lobster, peas. Look at that. How good does that look? That looks so sensational. Dad, why do you scrape the pan? Because that's the profits. All right. Who's got a little bit too much? Why don't you give up some of this over to here? How about you giving up some of that over here? Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looking good, man. Looking good, man. There's 6. Wait till you see the ending. The ending includes, and rightly so, phyllo pastry. This is a roll of phyllo pastry that is thoroughly defrosted. Now you can see these beautiful sheets of pastry, and that's good. Now, they will dry out so quickly. So I'm going to take a piece of plastic wrap that's bigger than they are and just put it over them like that. And then I will take a dish towel, a clean dish towel, wet it. I did this before, so you really soak it up really good, and then wring it out so it's like just wrung dry. Goes over the whole thing. And when you need to, you just flip it back and deal with it. Try to put them at little different angles every time they go on. Go ahead. This is good. Lobster pot pie with the essence of Newburgh sauce and 10 layers of phyllo pastry on top. As you can see, there's peas, there's pearl onions, there's carrots, there's whole cream. There's quite a bit going on there. It's pretty good stuff.
This is very good. You managed to make it, the taste is so light. You know, I know it has heavy cream in it,
right,
and a lot as it should, but
and
it somehow tastes so light. It's
and
even
cognac.
heavy.
There's
Yes.
cognac in there. There's everything, but it's it all melts together pretty good. Okay. And we're all going to come back, and we're going to make more different kinds of food for you. We might make a spinach pie. We might make ice cream. I'll make a Carvel cake from scratch. Whatever. We'll do something cool. If you have any ideas, write in to WCTV or write in to me. Look on YouTube. These are getting around, so we hope you enjoyed this.
Hello and thank you for being with us this morning. We are broadcasting live from our WCTV studio in Wareham, and this is Good Morning Wareham, your source for local news, weather, traffic, and more information. And now for a moment in history. Let's take a look at where we were today in history. So on this day in television history, the first Major League Baseball game was televised. This is in 1939. The Brooklyn Dodgers hosted the Cincinnati Reds in the doubleheader, which was seen as a perfect opportunity to showcase the capabilities of the medium at the World's Fair that was held in New York that year. Though it was low-tech compared to today's standards, the show got people excited for television. It would take until 1950s for television to become common in American households. And also today in constitutional history, this is the 9th Amendment was formally adopted in 1920. This amendment is known for granting women the right to vote, making those who fought for women's suffrage finally victorious. Wyoming had become the first state to allow women the right to vote 30 years earlier in 1890. It took decades for the majority of the nation to sway in favor of women's rights to vote, but following World War I, it was even more obvious that women played a crucial role in our country. Also today in rebellion history, President Washington, our own first president, sent troops to quell the flames of the Whiskey Rebellion in 1794. Farmers in the Pittsburgh area were upset that federal government was taxing them, refusing to cooperate with tax corporators. 6,000 farmers met in the field protesting the government and ready to fight. As the nation very young, at this point, Washington knew that a rebellion like this could destroy the government and spark more fighting. So Washington became the only president ever to lead troops into the battle while in the office. Thank goodness nothing happened because the rebellion ended before we even got there. I'm sure because they were afraid of George Washington. Anyhow, and for today's birthday, as usual, we'll celebrate a birthday. And today we are highlighting Macaulay Culkin, who is better known as Kevin McAllister from Home Alone. He was born today in 1980 in New York City. He was a successful child actor who now runs the media website Bunny Ears. That is all for today in History segment. To learn more cool historical facts, you can visit online under history.com. Stay with us. The coffee segment is next, and we'll be back. Okay, welcome back. So now is the coffee segment, and with me, these are our previous guests from last week. I have Stephanie and Emmanuel Obote. Okay, so now we're going to continue talking about their missionary work. Last time we talked a little bit about their love story, but we did not have a lot of time. So we have plenty of time today. We're going to learn more about who they are and what they're trying to do. This is in Kenya and Uganda. And also they have dreams of expanding their work to other nations. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. So we wanted to focus today's discussion more on the missionary work. So before we get to the work, let's get to know who you are and what sparked that interest. I'm going to start with you, Stephanie. You now live in Wareham, but you grew up in
Yarmouth, and then moved out west to Colorado.
Okay, very good. So now you're a resident of Wareham, but
Yes.
you have this passion, this burning interest to go out overseas and help orphans. So let's get to know you and what sparked that interest.
Well, I also help children here in America.
Mm-hmm.
We had, fighting and things in our family and kind of dysfunction, and I felt unloved, and so I wanted to love the children
Mm-hmm.
and let them know that people do love them and care about them.
Okay. So you decided to go overseas.
Oh yeah, and I've always had a desire, a burning passion in my heart to help them. I would see them on TV, and I'd want to go and help and be a missionary, kind of like Mother Teresa. I admired her.
Very good. Now you have been traveling for the past, you've done 7 tours there.
Mm.
Okay. So tell me about your first time, what you knew about the country you're going to. And this was Uganda and Kenya. And what you found out there.
I knew a little bit, and it was amazing just to be there, and just, wow, all my dreams were coming from out of my head and out of my heart, and they were alive, and it was beautiful, and just
Very
to feel.
good. So then you found out the need. Tell me what the reality of the situation.
Not many people have very good homes, or they don't have food. Sometimes they go without food for weeks and weeks, and they want to go to school. That's a passion of theirs, but I'm like, you need food first, so
Yeah.
I want to make sure they're fed, because if you don't have food, you're not living to have education.
Okay. So how about you, Emmanuel? So you grew up in Uganda.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I grew up from northern Uganda.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was growing to the age of 15, 16, 17, I was actually a victim like she does, family problems and poverty and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So time came when I got to know myself that, when you suffer, don't let anybody next to you suffer. And that's the only way that makes the world grow.
Mm-hmm.
2, I saw myself like loving the children, using my own effort, my own income. When I could see these children, wherever I go, they're like shouting my name, excited to see me. It gave me more pride. It made me big. And it brought that picture of being a hero in life in the future. So I went on doing it, and the more I do it, the more I become popular. So the time came when I met her. I was now like kind of growing. And when I met her, she's like, pursuing the same kind of dream that I have.
Helping the people at
Helping
home.
people.
So
Not depending on little bit of it, you depends on donations.
yes.
But much of it comes from me. So that makes me a hero. So even if we are like to move forward to look for donations or like like
In
going
the eyes
around
of
the
the
world,
children.
you don't put you much effort on donations because you can speak to 1,000 of people around the world. You only find 2 people or 1 person who come to willing to work with you. You get. So it is a personal responsibility, and it is. I'm proud of it. I would say that. And I'm very happy that I am doing it. Nobody is telling me to do it. Nobody is forcing me to do it. So actually bringing me this far, it is a part of the vision, and no one paid for my ticket, you get, to come to this place. And the reason for our coming here, to be here, because you may find we have like, let me say, 3,000 people living in this area. You may find 1 person or 2 or 3 who has the same dreams and vision, but they don't have an idea. So when we show up in a public place like this, you'll find somebody looking for us, might even come here, might even ask for our phone contact. I want to work with these kind of people, you get. So I'm just very excited that I've come this far.
So you grew up north of Uganda.
Northern part of Uganda.
Northern part of Uganda. Now compared to Kampala, which is the city, tell me about your area where you grew up and how it relates to the cause.
Well, northern Uganda had a
Civil
lot
War.
of problems. As a matter of fact, they had a lot of problems. Right from 98, I believe, I can remember that way. From 98, 99, 2000, 2001, to 3, to 4, up to like 5, 6. People were displaced. Rebels came and, displaced so many people, killed so many people, captured so many people. And if you hear, you would be like, what's happening with the government in the country? But it came and overwhelmed the security. So you would find people are displaced, like they don't have policemen, they don't have soldiers to defend them. So actually part of that contributed to my heart that I think I should work for the world.
Okay.
So the dream is bigger than what we are talking now. The wish in my heart that if I could become that big, a billionaire, then all of children in East Africa should become my children.
Now, in some cases, they are now for what the little that you can afford. You're caring for displaced kids, you're caring for orphans, you're caring for poor children living in impoverished lifestyles that even food, which are the necessities in life, they cannot get. So let's bring us and paint us a picture of where you guys are located. And tell us about the kids that are coming to you, who they are, where they're coming from, and why they're there.
Yeah, basically, these children, some of them lost their families. They are both parents. And the relatives that are close to them, they're too poor to help even themselves before coming towards
Some are
these people.
refugees from other
And
countries.
you find that the idea of calling them together and they pray together and share the idea together, it's not there. So without funds, still you call them together and preach to them and pray with them and give them hope of the future. So when that idea comes in their heart, they have that conviction that I think I need to pray because there is nothing else but only God. You get? Because
no money.
They survived not because of food. Myself, I would see in the camps where we used to live, people would die. You see somebody physically dying and they bury. The next day somebody dies. The next day somebody dies. People kept on dying because there was no food. And people were very sick. So it is so amazing that God kept them and brought them to me some days later. And I'm so excited that what I'm doing, it is making me to become a real father.
So how many kids do you have? How many kids are you guys taking care of?
About 150 to
That is
200 in Uganda,
And
and then about 50 to 100 in Kenya, and then I have about 50 or so in Pakistan that I help as well.
And by helping, what do we mean by helping?
Well,
or
what
by
I do is,
caring, what do we mean by that?
well, while I'm here, I work, I take care of elderly people as a companion, and I save my money. I don't go out to the movie theater or things like that, or dancing like other people. I save my money because my passion is to help people. And then I take that over there and I buy them food, or when I'm here, I'll send a donation to the people I know and I trust, and they help ration out donations and things for food.
So are you their only source for food and shelter?
Most of it, yes. So that's what
most of it. Yeah,
sometimes I'll go without food myself.
We delegated some few people who are in charge. Like when we are away, like now, they see that they're eating, they're bathing, and they're sleeping, and they're going to school. You get? So they help us a lot. That is Pastor Peter from Jinja, and then Pastor Silas,
Brother King David.
In Kenya, and King David.
A nice young man, he's 20, from Ushindi. He's from Congo. He's a refugee that is in Uganda.
Okay. So what is the dream? Now you're giving them the basic necessities, needs. What is the dream?
We are penetrating to see that we can, get for them sponsors.
Sponsors for what?
Like education.
Education, food, medicine.
Because if you manage out of hundreds you have and 2 get sponsors, they helps you. So that is the dream.
And we
and
want
the
to
reason
build
for
a children's
penetrating
home
around the world is for that purpose. I was very surprised. Recently, I met a friend. The friend was like, no, on the Facebook. The guy was like, these are the things I catch up with you guys. I was very excited. So it keeps bringing that idea in me. I think that, like, you know, I think that some people want to work with us, but because they don't know where we are. They don't know where we can be found. But if we can come this far, then we can get somebody. Because it is not, it's a responsibility and a will of a person who wants to do that, of which I know they are there. But they can't, you know, they don't have an idea on where to find us.
What does the regular day look like?
Just
Under
like
your
you would
care.
living with your family and your children, washing clothes, cooking. I play with the children. And sometimes I homeschool because I homeschooled my children when they were young. We do things like that, just like a regular family.
Are you working with the local government there?
Yeah, we fully registered to the
Yes.
company. So we registered it to the government.
And
the
in
government
Kenya.
knows us.
And how
We are free to-
helpful are they to you?
No, you know, Uganda is a third class
world.
world. So it is, even if they know it, they have nothing to say. They only see what you're doing, and if you're doing it well, it is up to you. You get. And if you want to work with the government, there are procedures that you really need to take, which is not easy. And they are not willing. Most of them, because there are people in the government that, when you look at the life they're living, they are truly stinking rich men. But they don't want to know it. So therefore, we also don't want to know it. You just do the best you can to see that you take care of your family. And what's the family? Those children are my family.
They
They're
have
our
no
family
mother,
now.
no father.
We take it personal. Somehow, like, take it personal, because it is a free will game that somebody has to come in and play.
Has the numbers been growing or decreasing, staying steady?
The numbers are growing. They're growing, more especially in Uganda.
The majority of the kids there, are they displaced? Who are they? The majority under your care?
Yeah, most of them were victims of that wartime.
Okay.
Yeah, the grandchildren.
Some are orphans.
Yeah. So some are too poor and left their parents. They have no idea on where to find the parents.
Or the parents are dead.
They are not even sure whether the parents are still living. So in a situation like that, you can, like, you saw somebody dying yesterday and you also let this one die. You have to get that person and take care of. If the father comes in the future, thank God, because you can't know. So you can't even tell.
They're too young to work. They're children.
Too young to work.
What is the best way for people to help you, as those who are listening to us at the moment?
Well, I think to our viewers, this is a job and it's a responsibility. It is a personal will responsibility. So if you want to come in and help, be a part of it, because it's a free will. We can't even say, oh, you guys, you know, we need some money, please, we need some money, we need help, we need what. It is just a personal, you know. You
We
take
need
it
help
personal
building a
in your heart.
website if they want to come and visit and volunteer. Sponsors.
What is your direst need at the moment?
Let's see. Right now, we're trying to focus on building a website, and we'd like to build a children's home, and then to find some sponsors and volunteers
So
if
the
they want to come.
website takes the priority. Then the children's home. Then
Because there's some people who said, you know, we'd like to give you donations. Where do we go? And I was like, well, you can find me on Facebook, Lambs Love Ministries, but they want a donation button or something, and I'm not very computer savvy.
Well, you can always do GoFundMe. That's
Yeah.
the easiest way to do things.
I've looked into that, but not many people get anything, you know, from GoFundMe.
All right. So, well, thank you to you both. I believe I have 1 minute. Thank you to you both for coming. At least we got to know who the kids are, where they're coming from, and what your needs are. You guys are still available. Emmanuel, you're visiting until next year, until January of next year. So there's plenty of time for people to be in touch with you. Hopefully, by word of mouth, things will, you know, we'll get the message across.
And thank you very much for your time.
Well, this concludes our morning program. I guess we're Emmanuel and Stephanie Obote from Uganda, here to talk about Uganda, Kenya, and other Pakistan and their efforts to help displaced children, orphans, and so forth. If you missed us this morning, this show will be re-aired this evening at 6 p.m. We'll be back here on Wednesday with regular schedule. I thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all a wonderful morning. Bye, Wareham.